You have already died. You are listening to me now as a ghost. I know your body resists such words. You want to recoil, to deny, to argue. Of course I am alive. I am breathing. I am feeling. I am hearing these words. But what if I told you that the very certainty you clutch is the dream itself, and that the death you fear as a future event has already swallowed you whole? Death is not waiting for you at the end of a line. Death is here right now, as close to you as your next breath, as intimate as your heartbeat. And yet, you pretend not to notice. You see, from childhood, you were taught to divide the world. Life is this side, death is the other. Day and night, joy and sorrow, existence and nothingness. You built your little map of opposites, and in that map, you have tried desperately to take refuge. But look closely, that map has betrayed you. For every step you take to protect life is already a step into death. Every moment you live is another instant of vanishing. Think of the ocean. A wave rises, swelling upward, glittering under the sun, and the instant you name it, the instant you say this is a wave, it has already begun to collapse. What you call yourself is nothing more than a crest of foam. You are already dissolving back into the sea. And the strange thing is, you know this. Why else do you fear silence? Why else do you fill your days with noise, with schedules, with achievements, with possessions, with conversations, with endless movement? You are running from the ghost that follows you everywhere. But the ghost is you. I want you to imagine a mirror. Stand before it. Look into your own eyes. The reflection smiles when you smile, frowns when you frown. But does that image live? Is it alive because it moves? No, it is alive only in your seeing. And so it is with you. You mistake your flicker of awareness as proof of permanence. But your whole life, every morning you wake and step back into the theater, and every night when you sleep, you slip into the dark between reels. And one day you will not awaken again. The reel will stop, the screen will be blank, and you will wonder, was I ever alive at all? Here lies the disturbance. You cling to something that has never existed. You say, I am me, but where is this me? Can you point to it? Is it your body? Yet your body changes every instant. Cells dying, cells born. Is it your mind? Yet thoughts vanish as quickly as they arrive. Is it your memories? But memory is nothing but a story told in the present, a fragile photograph held up against the abyss. So what is this I you defend against death? A ripple in water, a candle flame trembling in the wind, a name scratched in sand moments before the tide. And still, you clutch it desperately. I know this is unsettling. I know it rattles the cage you built around your heart. You want certainty, stability, ground to stand upon. But life offers none. Life is the very absence of ground, the free fall you call existence. And the only reason you suffer is because you keep trying to stop falling. You tell yourself, if only I can succeed, if only I can love perfectly, if only I can be remembered, then I will defeat death. But this is the greatest illusion of all. No statue stands forever. No name is whispered across eternity. All things dissolve. Even the stars burn out. And yet, listen, can you feel it? Beneath the terror, beneath the clinging, there is something else, something vast, quiet, infinite, the silence in which every sound appears, the canvas on which every shadow dances, the ocean that swallows every wave. That silence is here, right now, as I speak. It has no beginning, no end, and it does not die when you do. But to see it, you must first let go of your reflection. You must allow the death you have been running from to arrive fully. For the truth is, death has never been coming. Death has always been here. You have been afraid of death only because you thought it was the opposite of life. But look deeper and you will see death and life are not enemies. They are not two forces in combat. They are two sides of the same flowing river. Without death, there is no movement. Without death, nothing could ever change. And without change, there is no life. Imagine a song with only one note held forever. Imagine a painting with only one color spread endlessly across the canvas. Imagine breathing in and never breathing out. That is what a world without death would be. Frozen, suffocating, unbearable. The very thing you resist is the very thing that makes you possible. Consider the tree. In autumn, its leaves flame into brilliant color and fall to the ground. To the leaf, this may seem like tragedy, an ending. But to the tree, it is renewal. The falling nourishes the soil nourishes the roots, and in spring, new leaves burst forth again. So it is with you. What you call your death is only the falling of a leaf. the tree of life remains endlessly sprouting new forms. The Buddhists sometimes speak of reincarnation, the Christians of resurrection, the physicists of energy transforming. Each tradition, in its own way, whispers the same secret. Nothing truly ends. It only changes shape, only shifts its costume in the theater of existence. You too are not who you think you are. You are not the mask you wear. You are the vast stage on which masks appear and vanish. Look at time. You have been told it moves like an arrow, from birth to death, from past to future, but sit quietly and notice. Past is only memory, future is only imagination. Both happen here in this eternal present. The arrow was an illusion. There is only the circle, the breath rising and falling, the eternal now in what you are already complete. This is the deeper paradox. You are not going to die. You are dying now, in every heartbeat, in every exhale. And in that dying, you are born anew. The child you once were has died, yet you walk. The lover you once were has died, yet you breathe. The version of yourself who began listening to these words a few minutes ago, gone, yet you remain. So when the final death comes, do not imagine it as something unfamiliar. It will only be the last in a long series of tiny deaths you have already lived 1,000 times. And here, something liberating is revealed. You were never alive as an individual self to begin with. You are not the wave, isolated, separate, fragile. You are the ocean itself. The wave rises, falls, and disappears. But the ocean does not mourn. It is not diminished. It simply continues to dance, wave after wave, endlessly. So ask yourself, what are you really? The fleeting crest or the vast sea that gives birth to it? When you stop clinging to the idea of being the wave, you find freedom, because then death is no longer a thief. Death is simply the return home, the wave dissolving into its source. Imagine this. You are standing before a vast mirror. For years you believed you were the reflection, fragile, temporary, fading with each crack in the glass. But suddenly you awaken, you realize you are not the image. You are the mirror itself, untouched by what appears and disappears upon your surface. This is liberation, to see that who you truly are cannot die. Not because you will live forever in the way you imagine, but because you were never a separate someone to begin with. You are the whole. You are the silence behind every sound, the stillness behind every movement, the emptiness that allows all forms to arise. And emptiness is not nothing. Emptiness is the fertile ground of everything. Do you see? The fear was always misplaced. You feared lost us, being yourself. But the self was never more than a story, a bundle of memories, desires, and fears, stitched together like an old coat you mistook for your skin. Let it fall, let it be burned by time. Underneath, there is nothing to protect, nothing to defend, nothing to lose. And in that nothing, you discover everything. And now, the practical reframe. How do you live with this insight? You stop chasing immortality in your small forms. You stop exhausting yourself to carve your name into the stone of time. Instead, you live with presence, with gentleness, with awe. You look at a flower and do not rush to preserve it. You savor it. Knowing it's fading is what makes it precious. You hold your lover, not clinging to promises of forever, but trembling with the sacredness of this moment, this embrace. You breathe, not as though you are racing against a clock, but as though each inhale were eternity entering your lungs and each exhale eternity returning. In this way, every moment becomes holy, every breath becomes prayer, and death becomes not the enemy, but the silent companion who walks with you, reminding you not to waste this miracle. Listen carefully. Life is not about survival. Life is about surrender. The leaf surrenders to fall. The wave surrenders to the sea. The candle surrenders to the dark. And you too will surrender. But in surrender, you will not lose. You will merge. You will discover you were never alone, never separate, never fragile. You were the whole cosmos, pretending to be small, pretending to fear, pretending to die. And when that game ends, then you awaken. So now, hear these final words. You have already died 1,000 times, and you will die 1,000 more. But in every death, something larger is born. The silence outlives the song. The ocean outlasts the wave. And when the last breath leaves your body, do not resist. Smile gently, for It will be no stranger who greets you, but your own self, your own infinite face, hidden all along. For in every breath you are already dying, and in that you are already free. You have already died once, and yet you are still here. So what is it that remains? What is it that endures through every death of the body, of memory, of identity? This is the mystery. This is the doorway. And this is where liberation begins. You see, death is not the opposite of life. Death is the opposite of birth. Life has no opposite. Life is the stage, the field, the eternal presence within which both birth and death rise and fall like waves. When a wave crashes into the sea, do you say it has died? No, the water remains. The ocean never disappears. It is only the form that shifts, only the crest that dissolves. You are the ocean, not the wave. For so long you have clung to the story of being a someone, a fixed shape moving through time, carrying a fragile identity like a candle through a storm. And every gust of change terrifies you because you think it will snuff you out. But in truth, you are not the candle, you are the fire itself. And fire cannot be captured, cannot be contained. It leaps from wick to wood to air, ever burning, never bound. The moment you see this, the illusion breaks, the fear begins to fall away. Think of time again. You imagined it as an arrow forever flying forward, past, present, future. You imagined yourself strapped to its tip, hurled toward an inevitable end. But look closely and you will see there is no arrow. There is only this moment, endlessly arising, endlessly vanishing. Time is not a line, it is a circle. Every death is already a rebirth. Every exhale is followed by inhale, every night by dawn, every loss by emergence. And so the you that died yesterday is the you that was born this morning. And the you who listens now will dissolve into silence only for another form to rise again. Death is not the end. Death is the rhythm. You have feared death because you believed it would take something away from you. But see clearly, death is what gives you everything. Without death, there would be no space for joy, no freshness in love, no beauty in the fleeting. Imagine if no flower ever faded. Imagine if no child ever grew. Imagine if no moment ever ended. What you call eternity would become unbearable, stagnant, lifeless. It is precisely because the flower dies that you lean in to smell its fragrance. It is because the kiss cannot last that it burns so sweetly. It is because every moment dies that life is precious. Now, the deeper paradox, you are never alive as the person you think you are. The self, the ego, is a mask worn by something larger, a costume draped over the infinite. The role you play is convincing, yes, but the stage will not collapse when the role ends. The stage was always here before you began, and it will remain long after the curtain falls. And you are not the role, you are the stage. This is the secret of rebirth. Each time you shed a mask, each time you let a self dissolve, you are reborn. Not into some other world, not into some distant paradise, but here, now, in this very breath. You have already died once, you have already been reborn, and you will do so again and again as long as eternity dances. So how then should you live? Do not cling, do not clutch at shadows, do not waste your life in trying to preserve what cannot last. Instead, live as the wave that knows it is the ocean. Rise, shine, break, and return without fear, without regret. When you love fully, knowing it will end, knowing that ending is not a tragedy but completion. When you suffer honestly, knowing it too will pass, knowing it too will be reborn. When you breathe with reverence. Each inhale, a birth, each exhale, a death. And in the rhythm of breathing, discover eternity. Silence will outlast you, but silence is not emptiness. Silence is fullness.
That self. Silence is the womb of all creation. Rest in that silence and see you have nothing to defend, nothing to fear, nothing to lose. The self that trembles was never real. The one who dies has already died. The one who is reborn has already arrived. And behind them both, beyond both birth and death, there is only this vastness, this stillness, this unspeakable presence you have been all along. So hear this as the final word. Do not resist death. Death is not coming. It is already here, already with you, already inside every heartbeat. Death is your companion, your teacher, your liberation. And when the last mask falls, when the final self dissolves, you will not vanish. You will awaken. For you have already died once, and in that death you discovered life without end.